All right, Tammy, thanks for jumping on with me. And we're going to talk a little bit about the challenge. So you just finished the challenge a little bit ago. So let's kind of go back to the beginning. How are you feeling before the challenge even started?
Well, as far as fitness or
I mean, just like in general, because that kind of leads into like why you ended up doing the challenge in the first place. I think those questions kind of go hand in hand. So if it's easier to talk about like why you ended up doing the challenge, we can go that route too.
well, we were already doing the meal prep every Sunday. So I would say as far as eating, that was about probably 75%. And we were already working out. I from home at 5:30 via
Yep.
Zoom. And I would say I was probably running 3 times a week, probably 3 to 5 miles.
Okay.
So, I mean, I was kind of already doing the things.
Yep.
As far as the challenge, I think the timing was right this time.
Yep. So what did you feel like you needed to do differently? So you're already being pretty consistent with workouts and some of the nutrition front. Like, why did you feel like it was necessary for you to partake in a 6 week kind of sprint?
I think because nothing was really changing.
Okay.
So I just kind of needed something to push me a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So what did you guys do differently during the challenge?
So we just, for me, well, for both of us, I think, but for me, I just stepped it up a notch. And that's kind of what made the difference. Got heavier weights here.
Mm-hmm.
And, I work out from home. And that's one thing that I miss is the coaches, you kind of get into a rhythm. I don't have a coach saying you can lift heavier than that. I
Mm-hmm.
push myself for sure, but I don't have all the options at home. I do have 2 kettlebells now, and they're
Mm-hmm.
not little. I mean, 53 and 58 pounds. I mean, they're not
Mm-hmm.
little by no means, but so
So you kind of just decided to maybe amp up the training a little bit more.
mhm.
And then from a nutrition standpoint, what did you guys change or what did you do differently?
Like I said, we were probably like at 75%. And
Okay.
then this time, I mean, well, for the challenge, we just didn't snack. So,
Yep.
and also I would say we don't drink a lot anyway, very rarely.
Yep.
But we really focused on, there was no excuses. And I think that was one of my big goals is I just told myself I'm going to make every workout
Yep.
and I'm going to do, and I just accepted no excuses from myself.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you had the mindset that you were going to succeed no matter what, which ultimately allowed you to be a lot more consistent, which ultimately leads to better results, right? It's awesome. So what did you notice throughout the challenge? Did you notice any different energy, clothes fitting differently, outlook, kind of some of these immeasurables, we call them?
At first, I really, um, I didn't, I was tired. So I was really tired actually. I noticed that because I was running, I would say 3 to 5 miles. I bumped that up to probably 6 days a week in the first week.
Yep.
And then Jen added me to her my zone. I would say probably on the 6th day.
Okay.
And uh and so I was running 6 to 9 miles. I think she really helped me kick it up even more than I thought I was going to.
Yep.
And and that really helped me because I'm pretty good about setting my goals, but that helped me kick it up even more. So I was running 6 to 9 miles, 6 days, 6 to 7 days a week,
Mm-hmm.
and then working out, doing the FF workouts at 5:30, five
Yep.
days a week,
Right.
and then staying on task. So in the first, I would say, up until 10 days before the end, I really didn't notice a lot. But like in August, I had brought a bunch of my clothes upstairs that were too small.
Yep.
I have a spare closet upstairs. And my daughter had come over looking for some of my professional clothes to borrow for an interview.
Yep.
And so I brought some downstairs, and she was going to take them, and she said, well, maybe you should try them on. You've lost a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm.
And I work from home, so I wear joggers and a sweatshirt every day, and I don't get dressed.
Right.
I don't go anywhere. So I started trying those on, and they fit, and some were too big.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised by that because honestly, I had made I wanted to lose in this challenge 10 pounds
Yep.
and 2% body fat. And I had set, other goals, and the scale hadn't really changed all that much.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I was doing the right things, but the scale wasn't moving that much. So
Mm-hmm.
I was a little, I just kept working harder. And so that really surprised me that these clothes were either fit or were too big.
Mm-hmm. So
So
you saw more of like a change in body composition than really a change in scale weight. Is that accurate?
yes.
Do you know? I mean, so you did a body comp at the end. Do you know off the top of your head kind of what your final numbers were for the challenge?
I know that I lost 6.6 pounds, so that's not huge, but I lost 4% body fat,
Yep.
which was big. I do know that, and I think it was like 8% fat, or eight. I can't remember
8 pounds of
part of it.
fat.
8 pounds of fat or something.
Yeah, which is yeah. So 4% body fat change in 6 weeks is like extremely good progress. And so I think that's a testament to you really. I mean, you were already kind of working the process before, but just kind of like taking it up a notch, right? You went from 75% to 95%, right? Or even close to 100. I mean, you guys were really dialed into what you were doing. And so, if someone's listening to this and maybe they're kind of stalled in what they're doing right now, I think it's taking an accurate look at currently what you're doing and can you kind of ramp that up a little bit for a period of time in order to get there. And sometimes the challenge is a good way because it's a nice time frame to be able to, all right, let's really dedicate to it for a period of time. And so coming out of that, like, do you see what's your plan? I mean, you've gotten these great results during the 6 weeks. So kind of what's the plan coming out of that?
Well, so I still run,
Mhm.
but I've dialed it back down. I haven't gained any weight back. I'm still, I'm not where I want to be. So in setting goals, I think for me, um, I think if you are setting goals that don't make you uncomfortable, you are selling yourself extremely short.
Mhm.
Because I think so many people don't like that feeling of being uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I mean, your goals should be SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable,
Mhm.
relevant, or whatever, however you want.
Yep.
There's so many different ways, but your big goal, I mean, I really feel like it needs to make you uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And so my main goal, I'll probably never reach it
Mhm.
because I always want to be better. I always want to
Yep.
be, I mean, you all talk about Enneagram. Well, I'm an 8. And, I mean, so that's just part of who I am.
Yep.
And so I am not where I want to be. And, I'll probably, wait for the next challenge to push me again
Yep.
to, get to that next. Weight wise, to be honest, Trevor, I'm within 5 pounds of where I was before when I was where I want to be. But my body is not.
Mhm.
So, I mean, the scale, if that's one thing that I learned is that you can't measure by scale.
Right. Yeah, the scale just tells you how much the earth is pulling you down, right? It doesn't necessarily. And so I think that's why how your clothes fit was a really good indicator that,
Yeah.
you were maybe discouraged because you weren't seeing the scale change the way that you maybe felt it should be. And it wasn't until you tried on some old clothes that it's like, whoa, okay, there are a lot of things happening.
Yep.
Um, and a lot of times we don't necessarily notice that because we see ourselves every day, right? When changes are happening slowly, like they typically do, then we don't notice the big changes. But if we look at that kind of before and after picture, then they look, oh, that's completely different when we look at snapshots in time. So, and you guys stuck to the process. Like you really worked the process, and you made the decision that you were going to dial in. And I think that's a huge reason on why you guys were so successful. So what advice would you give to someone that's looking to start kind of making a change, or they feel stuck?
I think that would be one of them is number one. I think it doesn't matter what, whether it's, functional fitness or keto or whatever you do, it really is up to that person to make the commitment. Because no help aid is going to actually help any one of us until we actually decide to do it. And then making the goal and sticking to that goal, and but make smart goals, the smaller goals to reach it, because and finding someone to inspire you, because I really do have to say that I think, Jen helping me
Mm-hmm.
kick it up that notch, whatever it is or whoever it is, that's why we have partners, because that partner, makes us uncomfortable, holds us
Yep.
accountable, whatever it is. But um, really, nothing's going to happen until we decide it's going to happen, or until we are ready to make it happen or commit to it. It doesn't matter what tool it is,
Mm-hmm.
but also recognizing that this isn't a diet. This is a lifestyle.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like deciding that you're going to do something, and then I think having those accountability partners or kind of friends along the way that can challenge you and help you to kind of go to that next level, is a really good tool to being successful. And you and Jason being in the same household, I think that's huge as well, because if the person that you spend the most time with on a day-to-day basis is someone that's also doing the same things as you and has very similar goals, the likelihood of you guys being successful is really good, because you both are kind of going in the same direction and can support each other. So it's awesome. Anything else you want to share?
no, I'm just thankful for all of you guys, because you have to surround yourself with people with like-minded goals,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes that means saying no to your other friends more than they
Yep.
want, and that's been a hard transition too. But you know, it's even if you all get shut down again now, but I'm thankful for everything you guys do to be able to keep us active, and it's hard on everybody, and we can only do what we can do.
That's right. Control what you can control, right?
Mm.
And you guys are doing awesome. So keep it up. Keep up the great work. It's always great chatting with you.